Well, ahead of the election, we'll be visiting a number of constituencies, hearing from voters about the issues impacting them. The first stop is Caithness, Sutherland and Easter Ross. The Liberal Democrats have won that seat in all but one election since 1997. But now it's been increased in size, stretching from Beaulieu in the south to John O'Groats in the north. Our reporter Stephen Brown has travelled to Caithness to speak to voters there.
Behind the vast open landscapes and coastal cliffs of Caithness, there is a political battle brewing. This seat has been largely a Liberal Democrat stronghold in the past, but it's now increased in size, with the SNP in particular hoping to make gains. In John O'Groats, tourists congregate at its famous signpost, but the direction of these communities is shaped by those who call it home. This distillery in the village is still in its infancy. It tells the history of this place, but with rising energy bills and concerns around whisky duty, it's the future that's on its owner's mind.
So we only opened in September 2022, and in that time we've seen our energy costs go exponential, and raw material costs such as barley has almost doubled, so that's a huge impact on a small business like yourselves.
So from politicians and political parties, what do you want to hear from them?
Yeah, I want to see how they're actually going to make a difference for us, not just sound bites. We want to say, well, here's the steps that we can practically take that will have a real impact on small businesses.
In the sun of a summer election, the heat around some topics has cooled. But for this ice cream store, Brexit is still having an impact. Keeping young people here is key.
We need to make sure that we don't, get in a situation where we're losing that talent in the community. So good jobs, good housing, good education, good infrastructure, I think is key for the small businesses then to be able to use that pool of talent to grow and thrive.
Energy is a big issue here. Businesses and households with high costs sit in the shadows of a renewables wave. But the old still has a hold too. The decommissioning of the nuclear site at Dounreay continues to bring employment.
This is the largest constituency by area of anywhere in the UK. But for some people here, they can at times feel rather forgotten by both politicians and political parties.
At this gallery and gift shop in nearby Thurso, it's a sentiment that's echoed.
I do think there's been a lot of issues maybe with centralisation of services and things, so I do think a lot of the people in the far north do feel a little bit left out and a little bit left behind, and certainly not as much of attention has been spent focusing on us.
The boom on the back of the North Coast 500 has brought benefits, but for many, challenges too.
North Coast 500 took off and was much more successful a lot quicker than anyone ever expected. And I think the people of Caithness have been really actually quite good at adapting to that. But yeah, there's definitely been a lack of spending on the infrastructure. Things like the roads, things like public toilets, and even things like healthcare services, I think has been a little bit lacking.
And on the streets of the town, there are a number of issues on people's minds.
Potholes. Our county is absolutely covered in potholes.
Like the maternity facility is, like the birthing facility is really good, but everyone has to just go down to Inverness, and it's a long journey, especially if you're in labour.
Mainly transport, education, health service. That's the main priorities up here, really.
Its remote location makes access to healthcare and support challenging at times. This centre in Thurso a lifeline for those struggling with mental health difficulties.
We still receive funding, but we've been on standstill funding for 10 years, so it's very difficult to run a small charity these days.
So for you, do you think that politicians are focusing enough on mental health and mental health charities?
Maybe if we had a few more visits to see exactly what we do and chat with our folk, we would get a better grasp.
The dramatic landscape of this place pulls many in, but it has unique challenges to come, and understanding those will be key for all political parties in the weeks ahead. Stephen Brown, STV News.